everybody, I'm Tommy, and you are on the boat. Sandy Wendy, good to see you. Hey, David Booley, thank you for your kind words. I appreciate you. So, here's the deal. I don't know how long. Oh, no share. It's going to drive me nuts. Hey, Brock Bandy, how are you? This is a Saturday night rant. I don't know how long this will go. Chase the Heat, good to see you. And I probably am not going to say hi to everybody. I've had a headache today that has just been sticking with me. It doesn't want to leave. But funny thing happened to me today. Some of you may have seen the video that I did yesterday. I showed my passport. I showed page 27 of my passport. It was a setup for stuff I'm going to be doing coming up on the Jeffrey Epstein case. And I find this absolutely hysterically funny in a way that isn't funny. one of those funny things that makes you want to throw something against a wall. In that video, I showed my passport. I showed my birth name and my date of birth. The only personal information that was on there was my date of birth and my birth name. I didn't feel like that was probably Shimmy Dubawabi, good to see you. I did this because I've already been doxxed. There is a channel that put up my name, my birth date, and the last 10 addresses that I lived at, including the one that I was currently living at the time. YouTube didn't take it down, in spite of the fact that I went there and said, hey, these people just doxed me. I had never been doxed. No one, I've never tried to tell anyone that my name, my birth name was Tommy Scoville. Never represented that. We always had said that my brother, who is way more famous than I am, I'm probably more infamous than famous, but he was Johnny Scoville. And by the time I got out and was on the street, he was Johnny Scoville. If I was going to create content and not do it with the last name Scoville, that would have been an issue. And since I had been incarcerated, when he told stories about me, he used the name Tommy. I didn't really have much of a choice for what I was going to do for a name. But when they used my birth name and then told the entire world where I lived, that video was taken down by the content creator themselves after about 3 weeks, probably because they got a lot of comments of people that said things like, this is doxing, YouTube is going to go after you. The video that I did yesterday was removed. It was removed within 24 hours by YouTube. And the reason it was removed was because I doxed myself. I'm not kidding you. Here's one from the you gotta be shitting me file, but I'm telling you the gospel truth. And if my head wasn't killing me, I will go to the post section of my channel tomorrow, and I will post the email that I got from YouTube. They removed my content because I told the world what my name and date of birth was. They didn't have a problem when somebody left that up for 3 weeks. They didn't have a problem when somebody put up my birth date, my real name, and then across the bottom put the number for the Department of Homeland Security and told people that they could call up and report me for human trafficking or drug smuggling because they wanted the Scoville brothers dead or incarcerated by the first of the year. That video was okay with YouTube. But if I make a video where I put up something that can prove that I'm not something that people say that I am, that one's going to get taken down. The hypocrisy of that, the absolute, I was going to say something foul. The fact that that is not just the stupidest thing in the entire world. I mean, anybody with a half a brain goes, you got to be kidding, right? You got to be kidding. It's what's funny is they list it as doxing or cyberbullying. Myself, I'm cyberbullying myself. They don't have a problem when people do it to me as a way to make a living. There are people that don't make content on anything other than me, my brother, and my girlfriend. That's it. It's their entire catalog of content and they will use my birth name in their thumbnails. But if I come on here and do it, I'm doxing myself, right? I'm cyberbullying myself. This is the dumbest crap in the entire world. And it gets you to a point where you start feeling just a little bit paranoid, right? Like, holy crap. They just decide that you're a piece of crap. And as I've said before, man, I talk about cocaine, I talk about heroin, and I use those words. I'm not gonna police my language. I did in the beginning, and it makes me feel crappy. And even in the beginning, I would say stuff like, hey, I'm talking about the Bolivian marching powder, right? or I'm talking about whatever. And I would come up for euphemisms or whatever for the name of the drug. And for the first 2 years, they didn't let me monetize anything. Every single thing got strict, everything, right? Seems fair. They acted as if I was trying to advocate for the use of these substances. In spite of the fact that, hey, Loving Failure, glad you're here. In spite of the fact that, in all honesty, this was just one of those situations where I was running a group drug meeting. Every single one of my lives was just people talking about trying to stay sober. I didn't do other content. That was all I did for the first couple of years. One of the reasons that I started to branch out into doing true crime and things of that nature has something to do with the fact that people dig it. Like the first time I did a show on it where questions came up, people were like, man, you really ought to do that kind of content. So I did. Nevertheless, this is one of those things. Look, I think they took the video down more than anything else because I crapped all over the big red button. So this time I'm going to shit all over YouTube. I'm going to talk about what a lousy platform it is, but I'm not going to put my name or my birth date up there, and we'll see whether or not they let this one stand. Because this is one of the worst hypocrisies. First of all, the government of the United States needs to start clamping down on these platforms. Because see, they can step aside from anything. A person can put up a video that destroys your life. And look, I am what I am. People know what I am, right? I spent a lot of my life as a criminal, so whatever. People want to destroy me, I'm an easy target. They can destroy people that have never done anything wrong. They can destroy people whose reputations were fantastic. And if you say, I'm going to sue YouTube, you know what YouTube says? Hey, we're just the public square, right? We're the public square. We're not giving anybody this, we're not encouraging this voice, but free speech allows people to say whatever they want. So if you got a problem, take it up with the individual that said that. But 99 out of 100 times, the individual that said that makes about $30 a month off YouTube. These are people that rent their residence. So you're going to spend 25 grand to go after somebody that you're not going to get anything out of, right? You know, someone the other day said to me, hey, you could file all this stuff on your own. No disrespect. No, you can't. Give that a try, right? If you call a regular lawyer and say you want to do a defamation case, it wouldn't be libel, it would be defamation, because libel would be the written word. Defamation would be something that someone says out loud. And you tell them you want to go after it. They say, I can recommend 5 lawyers that do that. Regular lawyers won't even touch that. It's a very specified type of law. And there's no shot at it. Now, here's the thing. We have a law that has been passed in the United States that protects the sleazy big red button from getting sued for any damage that's done to people, including people that die from content that gets put up. And that has happened, right? There are people who have offed themselves because their reputations and their lives were destroyed by a group of people that just decided, because of the first video that went up, that that person was a chunk of crap. So a bunch of other people jump in on it because this is like crabs in a bucket, right? I don't know if you've ever seen crabs in a bucket, but if you got 3 or 4 of them, you don't need to put a lid on it. Because as they start to climb out, one will grab it and pull it back down, trying to get out themselves, right? And that's YouTube. When a content creator starts getting beat on, the only reason other people don't do it is if they don't get views. But if it gets 70,000 views, 80,000 views, 100,000 views, guess what? You're in the crosshairs and your life is getting ready to suck. And the big red button is going to go like Pontius Pilate, right? My hands are clean, man. All I did was build this freaking platform. But that's bullshit, isn't it? See, there's an algorithm involved in this platform that decides what they're going to push and what they're not going to push. And they push hate. And they push hate because it sells. And their argument, when it finally gets to Congress, because it will, right? This kind of stuff tears at the fabric of a society. And there's very few places on earth that allow this shit to happen outside the United States. So eventually, this is going to end up in Congress. It's too new a platform, really. I mean, it seems like it's been here a long time because there are people on here that have been here 15, 20 years. That's nothing. Right? You can't even start studying the kind of damage that's done to a person's brain on anything like this for about 30. But when they go to Congress and they start arguing that this stuff, you should be responsible for this, right? YouTube is going to say the algorithm is a reflection of you. It's not us designing anything. People watch hate longer than they watch love. The exception to that would be kitten videos, right? Nobody watches anything more than kitten videos. But do the math. They're 8 seconds long. They're 30 seconds long. So if you're going to do this kind of content where you sit and talk to somebody for an hour and you try to come up with things and interact with an audience, YouTube is going to push hate on top of you. And they're going to push hate on you of the people you already know. So if you subscribe to XYZ channel and someone does a shitty video on XYZ, they're going to shove it down your throat. And I talked about this on the other show, which they removed. But if you don't create content, if this isn't something that you do, there's something called a click-through rate. And what this basically means is that, this is about a little inside baseball stuff, but let's say that there's 100 impressions out there and you got a 3.5% click-through rate. That means out of those 100 impressions, that showed up in somebody's feed. There was a thumbnail that says my real name, right? And calls me a pony killer, a puppy stomper, right? A child rapist, whatever the hell they want to call me. That shows up in the impression. Now, whether they click on it or not, right? 3% click on it, whatever. So when you see a video that's got 50,000 views and it's trashing somebody, keep in mind that's about 3%, maybe 4% of the people that saw that thumbnail, that picture, that title. But my video goes down because I doxed myself. They don't have a problem with literally a dozen channels that dox me on a daily basis. That's so effed up, it's hard to wrap your brain around. But they're gonna get up there on the hill and say, we don't design it to push hate down your throat. People like hate. People like hate. Google, how do I block hate? A video comes up and you go, this is just from a scumbag, block it, right? Block it. Say, this isn't the kind of stuff I'm gonna watch. You won't, and I'm not busting on any of your chops, but that's not who we are. We drive down the freeway and we see a wreck on the side of the road, we stare at it. And if somebody we know is in deep shit, then we're way more interested than if it's somebody that we don't know. Plain and simple. The Rob Reiner case is fascinating to the world because we feel like we know him, right? We saw him in The Wolf of Wall Street. He was funny as hell, right? I like the Bush. That was a great scene. We saw him in All in the Family. We watched this guy. We grew up with him. And when we weren't staring at him, by the way, he's been on hundreds of different acting gigs. His credits go on for so long that it gets boring. But when we're not watching him, he's deciding what we look at. And then you go, oh man, I love The Princess Bride. And we start feeling like Rob Reiner is a part of our life, which, as effed up as this is, you got any idea how many kids killed their parents in the last 6 months? We're not talking about any of them, right? There's nothing personal about that. There's nothing that we feel a tie to in any way. And I'm not ranting on the audience. I swear to God, I'm not. This is just the nature of humanity. But the trouble is this. It's like a cruise ship, right? A cruise ship isn't going to bang a 180. It takes a really long time for a cruise ship to turn. But if you just take that rudder and move it about 1/1000th of an inch, over the course of the next 8 miles, you will be so far off of your path, off of the direction you're supposed to be heading, and it would blow your mind, and you'll never, ever realize you're turning. Because it's not one of those things that rocks your world. It's not like grabbing a steering wheel, right? That's us. That's who we are as human beings, whether you realize it or not. That's who we are. And this shit platform that pays the bills is turning people this much, right? If I do a show and I talk about hate, everybody in the audience goes, I don't participate in hate. If you go to anybody else's platform, they'll say the same thing. But they do. And I'm not busting your balls. I'm not. I don't even feel like this is really our fault. But see, if you've paid attention, they started doing that in politics. For real, right? Before the blue and the red states, you realize that that's a phenomenon we didn't talk about when we were 6. There was no such thing as a blue state or a red state. There were just states. But once we started putting it into 2 camps, that boat just started moving a little bit, right? Just a little freaking bit. And we didn't notice it. And now stars come on and say, I hope somebody shoots the president, right? They come on and say this stuff. I wish that the guy had taken a shot at him had slightly better aim. By the way, Rob Reiner didn't say that. But there are actors that did. Johnny Depp, right? Loved watching Johnny Depp movies. But he said, when was the last time an actor shot a president? He was, of course, referring to the Ford Theater incident, right? When one of the first assassinations, right, Abraham Lincoln was taken out in the Ford Theater. And he was taken out by an actor. And this was him being funny, right? He's being funny. Try that as a citizen. Say something like that about the president as just a swinging dick citizen and see what happens to you. But it's so accepted now, right, that Madonna can come out and tell people that she'd like to set the White House on fire, right, with him in it, because we just started moving a little bit. And if someone had said that in 1980 or in 85, we'd have been like, what the deuce just happened? Are you kidding me? But then we invent all these cool platforms that don't take responsibility for anything, right? Twitter, where people tweet stuff that literally would get any other person put in prison if you said it in public. You realize how many people that the Secret Service is investigating for stupid shit they said on Twitter? How many people lost their jobs? It's amazing what these platforms do. I'm here, I'm ranting, right? I got some people watching. But you can hang up tonight, take your channel. If you've got a laptop, right? You're just here watching me. That channel can also upload. You could just go and start making videos, saying whatever you want, because YouTube's not responsible for any of it. Not at all. Do you know that people have been smoked while live on this platform? Right? For real. Do you know that content creators have gone on to be serial killers and filmed everything all along the way? Really great example of a guy that thought he was turning into a cartoon, right? For real. He ended up taking himself out after going to a store that he worked at and just shooting the place up, killing people. But the whole time he's talking about it. He's getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And what did the crowd do? Did they call the cops? Did they report it? No, they showed up to see how twisted he got. They showed up, right? Because it's fun watching somebody unravel. It's fun watching somebody's life come apart. No, good times, good freaking times. But that platform that we're on right now, the big red button, didn't know that was happening. They knew I used my friggin' birth name, right? And my birth date, by the way, July 3rd. I was born. Whole world knows when I was born, right? Everyone knows how old I am. I didn't X that out because the lawyer said to me, have you ever been doxxed? Does everyone know when your birth date is? I said, the entire world, right? Because I've been doxxed so many freaking times. I was doxxed today. They said, yeah, then it's not a problem. Well, it's a problem. It's a problem. I don't think it had anything to do with my birth date. I really don't. I don't think it had anything to do with me flashing my passport. Now, could I have gotten mass reported? Sure, I could have. There's a decent chance that I did. I get mass reported on every single video. Do you know that? Lunatics come over and report this as hate. These are the same people that say, I hope he's dead by the first of the year. But they and all their people come over to report every video I do because this is a sport, right? This isn't what anything else we've ever seen in life is. But you know what we're doing? You know what we're doing? We're pushing that boat just a little bit more to the left. And as much as these content creators that spew this stuff out, say what you will, right? YouTube's no better. Those people aren't spewing hate out because truthfully and honestly, they're that hateful. It just pays, right? It pays the bills. And unfortunately, you get that folio do thing where you got someone that's screaming like that. And the people that don't create content, they're just rubbing one out in the basement to how much fun it is to watch somebody's life destroyed. So they up the game a little bit, right? Let's find out where he works. Let's find out where his family lives. And this shit goes on every single day. And I got people that still go, why would you leave the United States of America? Because I feel safe in Ecuador. I didn't feel safe in the United States of America because I have the balls to come on here and try to help people get sober. For real. It's an insane world. But YouTube is insulated. There's a law that says they're not responsible. See, all they are is the public square. I'm so friggin' tired of hearing that. The public square literally was like the village green in the middle of most towns. Back in the day, the road would actually like split and there'd be an acre, maybe two, of just a place that had, where people would come and gather if they had a town hall or they had anything like that. And if you were running for office or you wanted to bitch about something, you'd put a soapbox, literally though, so that you'd be 2 feet taller and you stand on top of that soapbox. And you could say whatever you want. You see, free speech allows you to say anything you want in the public square, even if it's hateful, even if it's bigoted or it's homophobic or it's racist. You can say anything you want. Now, there are repercussions, right? The people in the town go, I'm not hiring that dude. He's a lunatic. Free speech just protects you from not going to prison. Justifying what happens on this platform as free speech is abhorrent. It's not free speech, it's lies, right? You have the right to say, I think the president of the United States is a rapist. There's nothing wrong with having that as an opinion. But if you say the guy is this, public figures are completely out. You can't really do anything because this has been litigated all the way to the Supreme Court. If you're a public figure, if you have chosen to be a public figure, then people can say whatever they want about you. Well, that's great for actors, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, Tom Hanks, the guy's going to be worth $300 million when he dies. You want to sling some shit at him? Well, he certainly got paid well for it. But you see, there's this little level of fame that's not really fame. It's just well known enough so someone can spit at you in an airport, right? Or call your local police department to tell them you're drug dealers. Follow you to church. It's insane. And I was talking on the video that had been taken down, right? And I said, we need to become a better class of consumer because the big red button ain't gonna fix shit. They've got no reason to. They're getting paid out the wazoo. They will do nothing to fix this platform because it is a manufacturing machine for money, right? All of these ads that you're stuck flipping through when you watch me on a replay is them getting paid. This is a manufacturing machine, right? It's like printing press for cash. So they're not going to fix this. As far as they're concerned, it's not broken. Do you realize that this is now considered, if not the largest, because I haven't looked on in about 2 or 3 months, but if it's not the largest search engine, right, on earth, then it's in the top 2. The big red button. This isn't a friggin' search engine. If you look something up, you don't get facts. Search engines, in theory, should be finding things out that have some truth involved. But unfortunately, there's just this whole class of people that still believe that, hey, if you see it online, it can't be a lie, right? But the people that create it, Pontius Pilate, man, their hands are clean. They wash their hands. Deal with it. Deal with it. There's this really old kind of, well, I think probably mentally ill chick that has made tons of videos about me, absolutely hates me. Never met her, don't know who the hell she is, right? But she hates me. She sent me an email, I don't know, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, that said, hey, I really want to apologize, right? I think that a lot of the stuff that I said about you, I know it's messed up, but I think I may have been wrong about it, right? And I wrote back and just said, are you kidding? You woke up this morning and decided I wasn't all of those things that you made 100 videos on me about? Well, isn't that friggin' special? She ruined the person's life, got the person fired from her job, right? Destroyed this woman's life, had Child Protective Services going over to the house, and she got arrested. Now, name one other. Anybody. You know anybody else that's been arrested for that? Because it happens around the clock. There are people that aren't just messing with me and my brother or my girl. They got 25 people in the crosshairs, right? And they do this all the time. This is a sport. This is a sport. This is entertainment. Not going to the movies on Friday night, buying a bucket of popcorn, sitting down in front of a computer, looking at somebody whose eyes you can see, but they can't see yours, and deciding, I like this one, but I don't like the next one. That'll change too. Give it 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks. Once the content creator doesn't show somebody enough attention or any of that shit. But the big red button fosters this. And this hate permeates everything. I'm watching true crime the other day, right? I'm looking through some videos for true crime stuff. And if it's got a great thumbnail, I'll click on it, right? You can't do that anymore because the thumbnail, I watched one that said, woman blows 4.7 on a blood alcohol content, BAC, breathalyzer. 4.7. Now I want to tell you something, man. This is kind of a subject I know a little something about. 4.7, impossible. I'm not shitting you. You'll be dead. You'll be dead, right? The highest I ever saw was a 4.3, and this person couldn't speak. They had to pick this person up, get them out of the car. You know, it was just, so I'm watching this video, and the girl's doing the field sobriety test, nailing it, right? Speaking as clear and as effective as I am right now. And I'm looking at my brother and I'm going, Johnny, this chick's a 4.7? No, there's no 4.7. There's no breathalyzer at the end, but they get you for 30 minutes. Now, you go, how could you fall for that? Because the first thing I do on every one of those videos is I go to the comments and I look for someone who says, this is BS, right? Nothing. People commenting on how this woman was disrespectful. Whatever happens to her is great. They should have pulled her out of the car a lot. I went through, I'm not kidding you, every comment. And not one person said, that thumbnail has nothing to do with this video. We're becoming an audience of people. I don't mean you guys, but I mean the big red button audience, the shit platform audience, are just becoming mindless people that plug into this shit for 14 hours a day. Channels just recycle videos. You watched a great true crime one, they're going to change the thumbnail. They're going to put a chick in it with boobs this big who is not in the video, has nothing to do with the video. But people click on it because they know now, or this one, a content creator looking completely shocked. I counted yesterday on one channel how many times somebody had used for a thumbnail. It just got way worse for Diddy. This is the end, or some variation of that. I stopped counting at 22. We just crank out mindless shit. And the big red button rewards it. The video that got taken down yesterday. Let me see if I still got this up here. I probably still have this up here. Maybe not. Maybe not. Bear with me. No, it doesn't look like I do. I don't know how that happened, but let's see. Because yesterday I was showing some people. Yeah, I don't know where the hell it went to. There we go. There we go. Check this out. Mike Wolf from American Pickers. This was a reality show that was on for a very, very long time, and it was a very, very successful reality show. Very successful. So his partner, his name is Mike Wolf. His partner was a guy named Frank Fritz, and they went around the country digging through trash, digging through hoarders' garages, digging through shut down, car manufacturers or car lots that sold cars in the 70s. And they looked for little pieces of rusted gold, they would call it. So here he is, Fox News, right? Sentenced to life in prison. This video was uploaded on April 1st, 2025. It's still up, 3,561,316 views, and there's not a shred of truth to any of this. Now, to get 3 million views, how many mother-loving impressions were there? How many people saw this on their feed who just went, oh, yeah, I used to watch that show. I had a feeling that guy wasn't any good. I bet he killed Frank Fritz, who, by the way, is dead of natural causes. But this story doesn't paint it that way. Just bullshit, complete and utter BS. Complete and utter BS. My brother was in the chat earlier. He said he lost 3 gigs, right? That's a kind of an odd way to put it. What happened was the money-making end of what he did for a living was destroyed in one day. One day. And with all due respect, there are people in this chat that are going to go, oh my God, I didn't know that. Oh, I bet you did. I'm sorry, I bet you did. Right? Because you were jumping on the bandwagon calling him a piece of shit. And that takes off, you see. If that catches 70,000 views, then the community that you're in, even though it has nothing to do with the community that's trashing Johnny Scoville or whoever else, right? Everybody just starts jumping on the bandwagon. And then you got people going, yeah, he's a con man. Right? He's a con man. It's just one of those things that's said. It's like doctor, if you've gone to school long enough, right? You say the word Scoville, that one's just attached to it. And it's all fun and games, man. It's all fine. But the fact that this is allowed to go on, the fact that you can say anything, I kind of want to get into it. I mean, as effed up as that sounds, I just kind of want to start making videos where I come out and pick people that I'm not particularly fond of, right? And just, let's say, let's say they got arrested. We'll just run with that one, right? Just say they got arrested. Pick something really foul that they got arrested for. You realize it's literally that easy? But God for freaking bid, you try to defend yourself, right? And they're going to hit me for cyberbullying me, for doxing me. If that makes any sense, right? For real, if that makes any sense. And the funny thing is, they'll say to you, this is absolutely rich. So I go completely batshit crazy when I get this. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I ask, how can I contest this? It says, click on the video. The video's gone, right? This was a live feed. I didn't upload a video. This was a live feed. The video is gone. There's no getting it back. There's no clicking on it. It's gone. It's the silliest shit in the whole world. And there's nobody at the big red button. Like if you wanted to kick the front door in and go in and slap the crap out of a couple of people, I don't think you'd find anything but computers. Try getting somebody from YouTube on a telephone. When I was being doxxed the very first time, when my home address was on somebody's video, I really fought my ass off to get somebody on the phone. It took, I'm not kidding you, 7 months. I had a woman that called me after 7 months. And I said, well, the video has since been taken down. Right? They had it up just long enough to really trash me and put out to the world where I lived. And then they removed it. And I said, but you can go over and look at the channel because every video made is about me. If you look at the terms of service, they'll say to you, if everything you do is on one person, that doesn't work with the terms of service. They're still out there. They're still out there. They got smart enough to now hate 3 people. But there's no content that has anything to do with anything other than trying to destroy other people. And the big red button, this shit platform that cuts me a check once a month, likes it. They dig it. They dig it. They love the controversy. There's nothing in the world they want more than a couple of different content creators doing this shit. Okay? Because people are going to watch that like it's an accident on the side of the road. Honest to God, people, if I could find a good pizza delivery job that paid the same amount of money, I'd bail. And not because of any of you here, but because this platform has got to be one of the worst pieces of shit that has ever been created. And for them to sit back and say, it's just a public square. Nobody had to charge admission at the public square. Nobody got paid for letting somebody jump up on that soapbox and start talking. You're getting paid for this. So if somebody ends up hurt, you ought to be responsible. Try doing this anywhere. Have a concert in your backyard, right? Let people get up on the stage and say anything they want. Let a KKK spokesman get up there and start spewing hate. And if someone kills them, you're losing your property. Someone's going to sue you for your house. They're going to sue you for everything because it was your venue, right? Altamont. You don't think they sued Altamont? You don't think they go after the venues that allow this kind of crap to go on? But not in cyberspace. And not because it's different, but because they got pockets so deep it's incredible. So they hire lobbyists who go to Congress and say to politicians, I'd like to give you $4 million for your reelection campaign. Of course, as a private citizen, you hear, oh, the rich actors are giving these guys millions. No. They might give political action committees millions of dollars, but there's a cap usually by state to how much money you can give to a political someone running for office. I believe it's $4,000 and some change, right? And you can't do that to more than one person, or you're donating more than you're supposed to, because they don't want rich people to be able to influence politics. They don't want rich businesses to be able to influence politics. So how do you get around that? You invent the political action committee, right? You call it the committee to reelect Tommy Scoville. And now I'm a mayor from Miami that has $10 million in my reelection campaign fund, because that's necessary for a mayoral race. And then if you're slick, you know what you do? You want to hear this from a criminal? Pay attention. You have a friend open up a consulting firm to talk to you about your campaign and charge you $400,000 or $500,000 consulting fee. And these guys just channel the money back and forth to each other. Look at the net worth of the people in our government, what they started at and what they left at. You make $170,000 a year. And when you leave, your net worth has gone up by $80 million. You're a thief, right? You're a charlatan. And if you think I'm bitching about one side versus the other, I'm not. I did look up literally every single person in Congress. And I'll tell you, it leans in one direction, but there's plenty on both sides. Plenty. This is the world we live in, right? Take that big red pill. Swallow that thing. Honestly, people call me a conspiracy theorist. No, I look at what's going on. I read shit. I don't get my news from YouTube. I don't get my news from TikTok, and I don't get it from Fox, and I don't get it from CNN, because those people are just trying to sell cars. Go get it off a feed. Go watch other countries and see what they say about the U.S. Seriously, the Times of India. Go listen to what they're saying, because there's nobody there getting paid off, right? They don't report a shooting and say, 6 people were killed today in a church, and it is the Democrats' fault. What the F has happened to us? right? School shooting. You know whose fault it is? The damn Republicans. We got this gun control thing under control. You watch any of the news, that's what they're going to do. There's no who, what, when, where. It's all about why. Whose fault is it? Because it reinforces the shit we already believe. And it's great to hear you're right. Nothing's better. You know, it's the smoothest sounding thing in the entire world. Yeah, you're right. Everything you think is right. Your neighbor, he's a dickhead, right? Seriously, the people you work with, stupid. We now live in a society where, honest to God, if you say to somebody who's a Republican, well, so-and-so's a Democrat, your first thought is, what an idiot. You got no idea who this person is. They could be a rocket scientist. But your first thought is, they voted Democrat, they got to be an idiot. And on the other side of the aisle, same stuff, except they're going, he's an idiot and a racist. Right? You voted Republican, got to be a racist. That shit's been going on my entire life. Right? Started about 1989. And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And if it's going to get stopped, guess what? There's no chance in hell it's going to get stopped by our government. You follow me? For real. Johnny Scoville got a video taken down for eating 3 ghost peppers. He has eaten 10 Carolina Reapers while free falling out of an airplane. That one was not deemed to be dangerous, but 3 ghost peppers, they said you can't do that, right? You're doing something dangerous as a non-professional. He's Johnny Scoville. Like, there was nobody on earth at that point that was more well known for eating hot stuff. Who was the fucking professional? With all due respect, who was it? I mean, there was somebody that was a pro at this that wasn't him. The hypocrisy of the big red button. The biggest video you do, you can just about bet your ball sack they're going to find a way to take it down. Why? Because they're going to get paid on it. And if you got 140 million channels and you knock off 1 or 2 videos of every creator out there, how much more money you think you're skimming off of the top annually? And good luck trying to get them to change their freaking mind on something. And I don't mean like, there's certain stuff that gets flagged instantly. Instantly. Like the weed video I did yesterday. That got flagged because it has the word weed in it. I contested that. I got about an 80% chance of getting that remonetized because I wasn't telling anybody to go party or do whatever. But they flagged that video because the word weed is in the title, right? I put the word predator in the title. It's going to flag. There are certain things that you just get flagged on. But when I did my video about Prince Andrew, the former Prince Andrew, now Mountbatten Windsor, Prince, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, when I did the one on him, calling him a predator, got demonetized. Plain and simple. I would say half to 3/4 of my videos get demonetized because I'm going to say rape. I'm going to say all those things. Because a woman doesn't get graped. Grapes are friggin' fantastic. You make wine out of them. They're tasty as hell. You get them on a vine. I'm not going to do that shit. You take the sting out of it. Sounds like 1984. Right? No one's going to tell me 2 + 2 = 6. It's not going to friggin' happen. And you're not going to say to me, can't use this word. Don't use this word. Right? You can't say sexual assault. So you hear people go, smexual assault. Are you kidding me? That's where we're at, huh? That, to them, is worth demonetizing. Coming on and saying, pick any random person. Wes Lightburn did X, Y, and Z. No problem there. No problem there. They'll push that to the 4 corners of the earth. But say rape, you know the difference, don't you? The advertisers said we don't want to hear rape and stuff like that in our videos. So that's hurting their bottom line. The big red button shuts those words down and doesn't push it out because of their advertisers, not because of any other reason. So if you want to go out and hate people, advertisers love that. It's crap loads of views, right? Maybe we'll sell a Mercedes-Benz or some hand lotion. Yeah, new computer. Earbuds from Raycon. This is one of the most hypocritical piece of shit platforms on planet Earth. And you know what? It's the only gig in town. It really is. TikTok is absolutely worse, right? And any other platform that people go, that's a good one over there. There's just not anybody over there, right? There aren't enough people watching that you can actually go and create content and have people looking at it, right? No, the Scoville scale did not come from our family, Louisa. My brother took the name Scoville because he was eating hot stuff that at the time people were saying a human couldn't eat, literally. And he had kids, and people said, they're going to go after your kids. Don't use your real name. So he used a pseudonym, right? He used like Martin Sheen, right? Or any of the actors that said, I'm not going to use my real name. But of course, then what they do is they find out and they do what's called doxing, right? It's a word that didn't exist when we were kids, but doxing means putting personal information of somebody out on a channel. Yesterday, I did a video defending myself, and I got that video taken down for doxing and cyberbullying. And the person whose information I put up there was my own. And I didn't worry about putting it up there. All I did was my birth date, right? My birthday and my name, birth name. That's doxing. When other channels do it and leave the video up for 3 weeks, a month, 6 months, put my birth name in the title right next to the word chomo or pedophile, that's not a problem for the big red button. But if I come on here to defend myself and use my own name, for whatever reason, that one's going to get taken down. Oh, and you want to appeal it? Just click on the video. The video's gone, right? It's like saying to a cop, my car was stolen. Well, go out there, right? Touch the car. The car's gone. The video's been deleted. How am I going to click on it? But they know that no one's ever going to have to get on a line and hear somebody bitch. When I finally did get the woman on the channel, she said to me, you're a public figure. You're a public figure, right? You get paid for this. You are monetized. At the time, I think I had 17 or 18,000 subscribers or something. She's like, you're a well-known entity. And you know what? You can look at views. I don't know what I'm at, 5 or 6 million views or something like that overall. But to get 5 or 6 million views, you got any idea how many impressions were out there? Johnny Scoville's into the billions and billions of impressions. There are people out there that have had trillions of impressions, but 3.5 million views on one video, the one I just showed you about Mike Wolf, the live video. Take the average payout per 1,000 views, and that's a $21,000 lie. Person doesn't show their face. It was done on a computer. It was done by AI. And you know what? The big red button's fine with that. And do you know why they're fine with that? Because we're dumb enough to watch it. They don't care if the stuff's fake. If we're watching and it's keeping us in front of the screen, it's just like AI. Go to AI and say 2 + 2 equals 6. They go, no, it's 4. No, it's 6. Eventually, AI will go, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. And you're so smart. AI tells you everything you want to hear because it's all about keeping you glued to that screen. So the big red button doesn't care. You see, hate pays better. AI gets people to watch it. Great thumbnails, even if they're bullshit, get people to watch it. Real content? Who cares? Who cares? There should be a law that at the beginning of a video, it just says, this was created by AI. Don't you think that would be fair? Especially since a lot of these AI channels are reporting on the news. They're telling you things that are supposed to be true. Saw a picture today of Rob Reiner with 100 stab wounds in him. That picture is not real. It's used on a thumbnail. They blur it a little bit. Are you shitting me? That's okay. They're not taking that down. But God for friggin' bid, I say Brett Miller and my birthday, they're taking that baby down. Maybe it's because I shit on the big red button on that video. Maybe it's because I talked about the fact that they shouldn't be getting protection. If somebody on this platform does something hateful, why is that different than my backyard? You call it the public square, you own the public square. Why is it different than my backyard? Why is it different than my living room? The way I look at it, it's like a drunk driver hitting somebody, for real. It's not my fault. The car did the damage, yeah. Who's at the wheel at the big red button? Because it wouldn't take much to tweak the algorithm to say, you know what? We're not pushing hate. We're not pushing hate. They got a computer that can look at the video and determine whether or not it's going to get demonetized. Well, then why don't you just not let it get pushed out if you know it's a lie? How fast do you think AI could fact check whether or not Mike Wolf is doing life in prison? But the big red button doesn't give a shit because you're going to watch it. 3.5 million people did. And we'll reward the liar. Because you know what? You're bringing us a ton of money too. Like all those ads here. I have 21 grand. You know how many YouTubers don't make 21 grand a year? For real. Busting their ass? There was a time where I made decent money doing this. And then the big red button allowed things to be said by, I'm talking about dozens and dozens and dozens of channels that didn't have any fact checking, that didn't have anything. There are people that reported me for drug dealing, drug smuggling, human trafficking. I was being investigated by the state police, right? The local cops, drug cops in Tucson, Arizona, and Homeland Security. And I'm a dude that left his house 7 times in a year. All I was doing was creating content, playing with cats. For real. Crazy. But anything goes, and the big red button's cool with it. So you hypocrite bastards, when you listen to this one, I hope a human being comes across it. You guys suck. You got my phone number. Give me a call. Honest to God, I don't know how you people sleep at night. Well, if I had to guess, I'd say on a fat stack of $100 bills and Bitcoin. I'm Tommy, people, and I love you guys. I really do. You may be one of the great audiences on YouTube, because if you still stick around and listen to me, then you certainly didn't buy into all the bullshit that this platform lets people push out. Have a great night, everybody. I'm Tommy. We'll see you on the next one. God bless.